Hi everybody, I'm Eric Morse. This is Redwood Coast Studio, where we take a look at current events and news and the world happenings with interesting people from our local area, sometimes from around the world, and find out what projects they have going on to help society and help make this world a better place for all of us. This week, again, part 2 of my sit-down talk with Buzzy Martin. Here in Sebastopol, he's become quite a local celebrity, helping the homeless people, helping kids in juvenile hall, teaching music to at-risk youth, and for a while he was going to San Quentin every week, teaching music to inmates there to try and help rehabilitate them and make their lives a little bit better. Last week we talked about the prison industrial complex and how the United States prison system is just getting out of control with not only its costs and expenditures, but also the serious human rights abuses and violations that are going on with a system where you got a whole lot of rich people getting a whole lot richer the more people we lock up and the longer we keep them there. And that doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that that is ripe for abuse. And that's what's happening.
Exactly right. I mean, that was a great intro, but it's exactly what we have going on right now with the industrial complex of how much money they're dumping into this. And once you build these prisons or juvenile halls or county jails, you got to fill them up.
Yeah. You do. So we talked a lot about that last week. This week I want to focus more on your work with the youth, the Utes here in Sonoma County and anywhere else you may have worked with. I met Buzzy Martin at Rohnert Park Community School in 1999, I think.
Why don't you tell your fans and your audience out there what a community school is?
So here in Sonoma County we have, I think, 7 different school districts, or no, 4 or 5 different school districts. We have about 15 different high schools. If you get kicked out of your high school for a violation, you will go to what's called a continuation school, which is run by your school district. When you get kicked out of that, or if you get arrested and convicted of a crime as a juvenile, you will go into what's called the court and community school system, which is run by the county. And it's not really highest on the priority list, as you could imagine. Our school was in Rohnert Park, and Buzzy taught around the county once a week to all the schools. He would bring musical instruments and videos about the history of music and musicians. And
storefront, to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Storefront schools.
Yeah. Mine was a trailer next to the dog pound. We listened to barking dogs all day long. It was in a parking lot behind a tire shop.
Like a big mobile home kind of a thing.
It was a mobile home behind a tire shop next to the dog pound.
Right.
It was just a classroom and a parking lot.
Right. I mean, so that's what, right away, so you're having a bad situation go worse when none of the schools look like schools.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah, this was the kids who had been kicked out and then kicked out again, and often for having a bag of weed, forgetting they had a pocket knife. Often it was serious crime. I'm not excusing all of them. Some of them, they have been abused. They've have no parents. They're,
again,
really rough lives.
Right. No social skills whatsoever. A lot of times.
Yeah.
Mental health.
So that's where I met Buzzy, and he did a great job. The kids loved him universally because he treated them like
kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty simple. I just again, with the adults now, talking about this, just treat them like kids. Just really trying to let them know that I don't judge them. There's no prejudice here. I know they're here for whatever reason it may be, and just try to give them a little hope through music.
Sure.
And candy sometimes. I would bring in Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
And try to make them just be a kid for a minute.
Yeah.
And a lot of times these kids don't know how to be kids because they're in a situation with their family or whatever to where they've been either abused or whatever the case is going on. They have no time to be kids.
What did you notice in your experience these kids did not have in their life that most kids do have?
Stability of their mom and dad together.
Okay.
That seems to be the common denominator with a lot of these kids, where they're from a single family situation.
Single parent.
Single parent, yeah. Whether and the other one's not around.
Yeah.
A lot of times that I'm dealing with these kids, the dad's pretty much not around. There's a few times where mom wasn't around. They were just gone.
Sure.
Or mom and dad are gone and they're living with grandparents or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But that seemed to be a lot of the extent with the kids that I started working with, and that's where the gangs kicked in because that was their family.
Okay.
Because dad wasn't around to really guide them.
Yeah.
And then their uncle would step in or whatever the case may be, and then you get these situations to where they're trying to show them the wrong path of life.
Yeah.
And that's, what I started working with kids in that aspect. So nowadays, at risk can be too fat, too skinny, too good looking, too ugly, gay, not gay, cool, not cool. There's all these facets now that it's at risk.
Yeah.
Because the bullying thing has gotten really, really bad when it comes to kids. And I'm like Fred Flintstone, so the whole online thing I'm not hip with as far as texting and stuff. But I know that social media has made it really bad where people get behind that keyboard and can become really mean,
encouraging kids to kill themselves.
And, exactly right. And these kids are already at risk and pretty vulnerable. And when you start bullying, I mean, it's a whole other deal. And so that's something I'm trying to address right now too with some of these kids as far as being bullies.
So when you say at risk, what are they at risk of?
Well, again, it depends on on what you're talking about at risk. A lot of times it is there's no self-esteem, no social skills.
But what's the risk?
Well, the risk is obviously in some cases getting beat up from other kids, getting arrested.
Okay.
The risk is, a lot of cutters for your audience. Cutters are kids that have been abused, and so they start cutting themselves.
Okay.
And, there's suicide that comes in.
Okay.
So at risk nowadays, it could be a number of things.
Okay.
Especially when you get picked on. So if you're too good looking, some people pick on you or beat you up for that.
Yeah.
If you're not good looking and you don't fit in, then again, you're picked on and bullied.
Yeah.
If you're too successful, if you're too smart.
Yeah. That's a big one. Yeah.
That's a big one. If you don't know what's going on, and then sometimes you get picked on. So the at-risk thing for me, since I met you, because when I met you, obviously at-risk kids was a lot different. Now it's opened up to where it's huge. Yeah. And then when you start giving kids medical drugs like OxyContin, and that whole deal opens up a whole other nightmare and can of worms.
Yeah, sure does.
For at-risk kids, because they try to medicate the kids now instead of trying to get them into treatment.
And a lot of the medication given for ADD and ADHD is essentially amphetamine, And
correct.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole other show because all the kickbacks that happen with the pharmaceutical companies, with the doctors and stuff.
Yeah.
But the child's the one that, when you really look at it, we're just putting a Band-Aid on all of these kids and what goes on. So I think that, you have to take this one-on-one, which you did when you were teaching. You're a great teacher. You have to talk to these kids one-on-one and try to give them, I think, both sides of if you do this is going to happen or this can happen.
You worked in juvenile hall a lot?
I worked been in and out of juvenile hall. That was good.
Yeah.
I worked in juvenile hall about 30 years.
Okay. What was it like in there?
It's like a mini prison. It's a kid's prison.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
And now again,
did the kids get guidance and rehabilitation, and did they get how common would you say is emotional or mental illness among the kids in juvenile hall?
Huge. High.
Okay. Were they getting treated for that?
Okay. Well, not to stammer and stutter, but I've been gone for a few years. When I was there, I felt that they were being over-medicated.
Okay.
I find, again, the kids that I work with in foster care are all being way over-medicated, being gacked out of their mind because they just shut up, they'll sit down and sleep, and then you're no bother to me.
Were they getting the kind of emotional and mental, though, counseling and guidance and attention and treatment?
No. Okay. I think that when it came to that, guidance-wise, it was not real good. As far as the drugs that they were being given to, I felt they were being overprescribed.
Okay.
And that wasn't just healthy for an environment. I felt, as being a juvenile justice commissioner, which I was a number of years ago when I was working in juvenile hall, and fair to your audience thing, I was looking for the word. I love this guy. I've been gone for a while.
Yeah.
But when I was working there, I just felt that there was numbers of things that could have been improved on.
Okay.
Teaching
like what?
Well, like teaching these kids how to be kids. Reading stories to them.
Yep.
I don't think most of these kids ever had that happen.
Yeah.
To read to them, which is like foreign.
Yeah.
If they're going to watch TV, have it really monitored to what TV You know, like for me,
Sure.
I'm an old guy. Since you made the remark on me turning gray now, I'm gonna hold on. That was from my life.
Blonde. I said blonde.
Sexy blonde.
Yeah.
You know, they should be watching heavy doses of, like, say, Leave It to Beaver, Amy Griffith Show.
Yeah.
Stuff that when I grew up, in a half an hour, they had a message.
Sure.
To this.
And my son liked that when he was a little boy
right,
too.
When you think about this, it's like, why did Andy Taylor not have a gun? He didn't need to have one.
Yeah.
He would talk these guys out of the situations, which nowadays,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Talking about media that kids are allowed to watch, there's a big and be exposed to. There's a lot of controversy on whether, things like violent television and movies and video games really affect these kids. The main controversy, honestly, I've done a lot of research on this from my teaching days and throughout my life, and the industries actually plant artificial controversy on whether studies show that it makes kids more violent. When you look at the 1,100 or some peer-reviewed, published scientific studies that have been done on exposing kids to violent media and what it does to them,
right,
it is overwhelmingly conclusive that it makes human beings more violent.
Absolutely.
But the industries like to write articles that, the studies are kind of inconclusive. Buzzy, if you watch...
Is this called fake news?
Yeah, it is fake news, yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you don't really know who to believe.
I remember when when my child was much younger, and I was explaining how I did monitor what he was exposed to, and someone said, "What do you want to shelter your kid?" I thought, yeah, that's my job as a parent, is to shelter my child.
Well, it is.
Isn't it? Feed, shelter?
Well, it is. And show them some kind of a guidance to where when they do fly, they know enough of what to and not do and where to go on the path. But some parents don't know that.
They don't have that. Some kids don't have
They don't
parents
have
that
any
do that.
skills of where to go. And I think that's where us as a community, when you hear those things of, it really does take a village to raise a child. It's true.
Yeah.
We all have that obligation to say and step up, hey, what are you doing? You can't be, that's not right.
Yeah.
But nowadays we have to worry about somebody either shooting us or putting a knife to us.
Are gangs a big problem among kids here?
Here in Sonoma County?
Yeah.
Oh, gangs are a problem everywhere.
Yeah, I remember it was kind of a loaded question. I knew how you were going to answer. But I remember when I first got that job in Runner Park, I was like, gangs in Sonoma County? It's apple orchards and
well, it's the same thing.
grapes. And then I thought it was a joke. I was like, there's no gangs in Sonoma County. Give me a break. And then I remember while we were working together, the FBI had done a 2-year sting operation on the Mexican mafia. Hundreds of thousands of members across the country, with all sorts of gang criminal enterprise, and it was headquartered in Rohnert Park. Operation Black Widow was the sting. Headquartered in Rohnert Park. Run out of Pelican Bay State Prison.
Right, I remember that because there was a magazine that came out and it talked about San Jose, California. It's
no joke. I regret to say that, what do we have, 3? You must have more. I have 2 former students who are dead, died as teenagers in gang violence, and 1 who was in San Quentin.
Oh, no. When I think about that, it's funny you say that because I probably 25 of my former students have either died or in prison.
25.
Out of all my students. I've run into hundreds of kids that I've talked to, which are success stories, but there's about 25 that just were not going to go that way. They wanted to check it out themselves to see what was it all about.
Yeah. So, are there programs that work that can help that can help kids?
I think there's all kinds of programs that really work.
Okay.
I don't know what the percentage is, but I think that you have to be able to want to help yourself.
Okay.
And I think it's a lot of it. But on the other side of the coin, I think it's so important, like teachers like yourself or myself being a mentor, that you really have people out there that believe in what you're trying to do, that will, really push you along and not push you out, give you the love and the emotional support that you need.
Yeah.
To have you grow. And it may not be your mom and dad. It may not be your family. But I think as people, we really have that obligation. And I think it's that we can. I think there's hope here.
Yeah.
I really believe in the common welfare of man that we really can do this.
Yeah.
And put a positive spin on it and not go to the whole gutter part of it, that we really can show these kids through education that there's another way. I believe absolutely.
There are a lot more programs than I thought. I was doing some research for this episode, and I came across a website called crimesolutions.gov, and it listed 50 of the most beneficial and successful and effective national programs that help kids, and they're tailored to all sorts of specific needs that a lot of at-risk youth have, you know, whether it's kids who have been sexually abused, or kids who have mental illness, or kids who have learning disabilities, or kids who are in the LGBTQ community, or, you know, kids who have had a parent out of their life, kids who are impoverished, kids who are homeless. That's something that people don't think about. A lot of homeless people are children, you know?
Well, let me tell you, and speaking of, we've had a lot of homeless encampments here in Sonoma County because of the fires and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with a lot of the adults that were kids in juvenile hall that are living in the homeless because of the stuff that's happened to them as kids. Now they have drug problems and mental illness problems. You're not going to find a job. It's a lot harder to do. And here we are. So you are right, and we haven't even addressed the whole situation when it comes to mental illness when it comes to the homeless. And that's like it's
a big deal. Well, homelessness is increasing. These programs, though, that were on that website, Crime Solutions, there's all sorts of ways to get involved. There, like I said, it listed dozens of programs across the country. Unfortunately, heartbreaking stories, and you know, Time Magazine, I was reading a couple months ago about some of these programs being cut and their funding just being completely eliminated. And
they're not cost effective.
Well,
well, it depends on who you ask.
Exactly.
And that's the word that I've learned from working with, you know, the higher up mucky mucks. Cost effective. Well, cost effective to who? Right?
Sure. And they are cost effective.
Well, they are cost effective. They're trying to help people, but you know, it's like, you know, and again, I'm not going to name names, but there was a lot of times that I've heard words about, do you want to hire another teacher or a teacher's assistant? Or do you want office furniture in your office? Well,
I need a new chair.
Or whatever. And so there goes someone to help you or the kids. And that's what we have in society. I mean, you can see the upstairs in Washington when they say about draining a swamp.
And then you got $34,000 dining room tables.
Exactly.
While you know, the teachers across the country are showing us books with no covers.
Or, we haven't even discussed the whole thing about DeVos. When it comes to schools, and if she wants to go for the charter schools, pull all the money out from the mainstream schools and put it all into private schools for the rich people. And nothing against rich people. I'm cool, you know? People are people and people are whatever, but we got to spread this out a little bit.
We definitely do.
And we don't. And then it goes back to where we have the prejudice and this whole deal that goes on with lower class opposed to upper class. And, you know, it should be one class.
Good words.
That was good, huh?
Yeah, it was really good.
Wow.
It should be one class. You got a song for us that, you got any songs that deal with kids? Specifically?
Funny you say that. That was like a lead-in, wasn't it? You knew that.
No, you didn't.
Wow.
Okay.
It's called Kids Helping Kids. It goes like this.
Thanks.
Dirty clothes, runny nose, children cry in the streets. Love lost at such a cost. Why is the world so mean? With hearts of gold you will never grow, and you bring a smile to a child. Spend some time to realize we were all once boys and girls. We're just kids, helping kids. We're just kids, helping kids. Cold, cold nights, mom and dad fights, and there's no place to live. Scars of life, screams cut like a knife. How much more can they give? With Hearts of gold you will never fail when you bring a smile to a child. Spend some time to realize we were all once boys and girls. We're just kids helping kids. We're just kids helping kids. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because we really are kids helping kids.
We
right?
are. Yep.
Even when you get really old and decrepit and we're in adult diapers, they're still called adult diapers.
Yeah.
So you're still a kid. And my feeling is for all your audience out there is you just, you got to get involved and kind of, you see some kid going to the wayside, try to talk to him a little bit.
Yeah. On an individual level, thanks. That's really good advice.
Yeah, just talk to him. You can't talk down to anybody. And we have this problem where everybody's either on their little iPhone, or they don't want to talk, and they have that whole space thing and stuff. Look up and look around and see who are by you and stuff, and try to get to know your neighbor and converse a little bit.
Yeah, help people on an individual level and on a wider level. Really, there are. If you're interested in helping out, there are definitely programs out there. They need help. They need attention. They need funding. They need people speaking up for them to their legislators and the people that write the budgets and these things. There are all sorts of places that kids can turn for sports activities or counseling or mentoring or other youth social involvement. But those programs really need our help, both financially and with our awareness and our support.
Just getting involved. Just finding out what can you do to do something. I mean, whatever it may be, you got to be able to do something
to keep these kids out of our prison system.
Well, if we don't
do a career and a job and a family.
Right. If we don't deal with the kids now at risk, we're going to deal with them when they become adults, and then it's going to cost more money for our taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
This way, I'd rather be able to have to shut down most of these prisons and juvenile halls because we don't need them.
That would be fantastic.
Not to fill them up with kids that really don't need to be there. So, a lot of hard work, but I think, for your audience, it's just a deal of getting involved, finding out what you want to do to help your community, right?
Yep.
I mean, really, it just goes back to what can I do to help my community to make me feel more safe and secure with my surroundings?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad would say, you see that light out front, that post?
Yeah.
When that turns on, I want you home.
Mm-hmm.
If I was at school and messed up, I don't want the teacher calling my dad, because then not only would he be upset, I'd have to deal with that. Nowadays, if the teacher does anything, then he's sued, arrested for disciplining the kid, and the kids get away. They're not learning anymore.
Yeah.
And we have to have this whole deal where, turn it around a little bit. You go to school, you're there for a reason. Listen to your teachers. Put your cell phones away.
Yeah.
That's a whole other deal, too. I mean, most of these kids I work with, they're like, oh my God, no, I have to, give me your cell phone. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
I mean, you know that, right?
Yeah,
Is your son that way?
Yeah.
Right? You can't give it away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
All right. Thanks, Buzzy.
Hey.
That was really wonderful.
You know what? It's a good thing, and
Yeah.
bottom line is just I can't say it enough. Just get involved with your communities. It's really, whatever we're talking about here, just get involved. Whether it be the environment or kids or whatever, just get involved. Just don't be that little white filling in the middle of a Twinkie. Just gotta
Life is run by those who show up.
Did you make that up?
No, it was a famous quote. It's actually the world is run by those who show up.
You should have just lied and told me it was you.
I didn't make that up. But I did make up Redwood Coast Studio. My name's Eric Morse. Our guest is Buzzy Martin. Thanks for watching. Find us all on social media. Please share with your friends, and please subscribe to our channel. We'll bring more exciting topics and cool people back next week. Look for Buzzy's book, Don't Shoot, I'm the Guitar Man, and his movie,
Guitar Man.
All right.
BuzzyMartin.com. Facebook me. I look just like this.
All right. See you guys later.
Ciao.
Peace.